Hello, everybody. This is Dave Smith. This is News from the Roost. And today we have a very special guest for you coming all the way from the country of Colombia. Would you please welcome Ann Blood Smith, Spanish teacher and world traveler? Welcome, Ann, to News from the Roost. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's the weather down there in Colombia?
Oh, it's great, actually. We are in the mountains, so as you can see on my jacket, I have some long sleeves on because it's pretty chilly. I have some socks on.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Okay, so
so
it's not like
it's chilly.
it's not like some tropical weather or something like that that you're, going out and
Right.
sunning yourself at nighttime, or out during the day. You've got a little bit of a breeze happening. Is that right?
Yeah, because we're at 6,000 feet, so we are in the rainy season, and it did rain some this afternoon. Rained pretty hard, but then it stopped, and so and then it was sunny. It was real sunny. It was probably 85, pretty hot in the sun, so I was kind of sweaty. And
Okay.
then when the sun goes down, yeah,
So it depends a
gets
lot on the elevation there where you're at. You should go up in the
oh
mountains. I
yeah,
guess it gets cooler and you're down in the airport. Now is when you flew in, where did you fly into?
Medellin, and we're about maybe 15 minutes away from there.
So I know that people that are tuning in, not a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people travel to Colombia, but through different kinds of things you hear in the news, you used to hear back in the last 20 years or so, people aren't always talking about when they decide to go on vacation that Colombia is usually one of the first things out of their lips, right? And
Yeah.
it's just, but I know you've been to a lot of different places and you there and you speak Spanish. Does a lot of people speak Spanish where you're at, or are you glad that you know how to speak the language?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, of course they speak Spanish where we are, but I think what you mean is, do they speak a lot of
English, yeah,
English?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And actually, not really. We probably in here more than other Latin American countries, or at least that I've been to. Um, a lot of people don't speak English here, which is kind of cool if you want to learn Spanish because you're kind of forced. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, there's not a lot of English speakers,
Well, that
including
makes
the owner of the hotel.
yeah, you're right. That makes it nice if you wanna go down there and practice your Spanish. You don't
Yeah, so
never.
you really should know something. I feel like here, I don't know. I mean, you could always get around, but it's sure is helpful knowing Spanish.
So, I think the people are also tuning in, recently in the news, it was just a couple days ago, there was a bad earthquake in Colombia. And, Colombia is not a huge country, right? But at least I don't think of it as a huge country. So, can you tell us a little bit about, you know I mean, you were down there, right? Like, right after the earthquake
Hmm.
happened, weren't you?
Well, yeah, yeah.
So,
Um,
can you tell us a little bit about where you are kind of in proximity to where the earthquake occurred, or
yeah, we are 200, approximately 250 kilometers, which really doesn't help when I say kilometers for us Americans, north and east of where it happened. Um, but it would be probably like a 4 to 5 hour drive away, which for us doesn't seem like that far. But honestly, like, again, I have not talked to everybody, but I'm not seeing, I guess my point is coming down here. You wouldn't know that there was like this awful disaster. Like, I'm not seeing a lot of course, I don't have a television, but I'm not seeing a lot of big reactions or, I mean, life, I'm sure that they're helping everything, but life here is kind of going on as normal.
gotcha. Yeah.
I don't see any remnants. I talked to our driver. He said he felt the trembling for 2 minutes. He said it was very, very scary,
Well, I guess
but I'm not.
I guess I think, Costa Rica, I know there's earthquakes that happen there. We always hear about earthquakes in Costa Rica, but I guess I never really thought about earthquakes in Colombia, but they're kind of in the mix of it too, aren't they? Of the earth.
Yeah, yeah. That whole area, that Ring of Fire and kind of on the coast there around the Pacific, and there's so many volcanoes and whatever that tectonic plates right down through Central America,
Yeah.
happened. That's why they are such beautiful mountains, I suppose. I'm no geologist,
So
but
can you tell us a little bit about the town that you're in, and are you able to walk where you want to go? Are you able to walk to the store, or where you're staying right now? Could you tell us a
right
little bit
now
about the area?
yeah, so right now, we're about 45 minutes away from Medellin, and um, we are about 15 minutes away from Rio Negro, which is a nice town. Has a nice historical area. We just went there today, and it took us, like I said, 15 minutes, and they had a beautiful mall, like malls how they used to be before they all
Where there was
started
somebody actually
closing.
shopping in them, right?
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah, and really nice stores, lots of people, big food court. Had a Then they had if you walk down the street a little bit, they have a historical section, and they have a beautiful park. You can tell that they've really redone it. A little walkway by, there's a small river there, hence Rio Negro. So that's probably, like I said, 15 minutes away, but you would have to take a taxi or Uber. Where my hotel is, it's called a finca farm. So you can hear like, there's a farm actually next door. You can hear cows and chickens and things like that. So
Oh,
we can't walk anywhere. We're down like a very steep hill, and we can't walk anywhere, but there's tons of nature, like there's tons of plants, um,
okay.
uh,
Uh,
all around, and birds. Yeah.
when you want to go places, you basically, I don't wanna say call an Uber, but somebody probably drives you to see some of the sites
Yeah.
around the neighboring towns,
Yeah.
or if you wanna go to the mall. Or now, I'm sure you have a lot of things other than mall shopping. I mean, you're an adventurous traveler, so I'm sure you got a lot of neat things that you're gonna see on your trip. But, I know that,
Hmm.
myself, probably, when I think of Colombia, I guess I think a little bit, sorry, but dangerous, you know? I mean, here,
Hmm.
in the US, US is always thought of as a dangerous, place for foreign travelers when they go. But I think of Colombia, what you think of the obvious things, when you think of Colombia, but I know a lot of
Hmm.
that has changed. Can you talk a little bit about how safe you feel so far in your trip, how safe you feel, maybe some of the precautions that you're taking?
Yeah. Actually, I mean, I feel really safe in Rio Negro. I felt very safe. There was a lot of families and tourists, and people have been extremely friendly. But I think it's like, I've been feeling very safe. But we've also been staying, we've been venturing into very nice areas, um, and areas where actually there was a lot of police presence. So, tourist areas. I think everybody wants to live in a place that's safe. So, so far, I mean, we felt quite safe. Not to say that, I think any traveler, you try to use your head, like um, you don't walk around with fancy jewelry on or anything like that. I mean, take some precautions. You don't walk places at night, that kind of thing.
How are they with
But
their
so far, actually, it's been really nice. Everybody's been really friendly.
how are they with their cell phones down there? As you're walking the streets or walking around, do you see everybody on their phones like they are here in the US or on the streets?
Yes, actually. And I could probably talk to you more about this after we go into the city of Medellin. But I was just commenting to Wyatt when we were at the mall. I read a lot of things about, oh, don't use your cell phone, don't use your cell phone. But everybody was on their, just like in the US, everybody was on their cell phones.
Well, that
There's no different.
that kind of, like, speaks to how things like how we have these myths about certain travel, certain places to travel, things that we
Hmm.
hear on the news, or we type something into the internet, and then just assume that that's going to be true, and either
Mhm.
I would think that prevents a lot of people from going places that they wanna go, you know? So,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
what
Um,
what kinds of things do you have coming up, like, that, in your the rest of your travels in Colombia? Can you tell us, like, some of the cities that you're gonna see or the places that you're gonna go? It might give some people some ideas of things to do.
yeah, so tomorrow we leave really early to um it's called San Rafael, and we're going to the Ritmo del Rio Escuela de Español, Spanish school, and we're also going to be volunteering on their little farm. So that's going to be about a 3 hour drive due east from here. So we'll be there for one full week. And then after that, we return to Medellin, right in the city, in the park called Lorales, for 4 days. And then we come home. So this is just the very beginning, first leg of the trip,
So
short leg.
so you didn't rent a car, you didn't rent a car?
No, no, we've been using drivers, like the driver that the hotel here has, Uber.
How's that been working out?
Good, good. We're a little snafu the first night because there was the driver from the hotel didn't show up. Um, I
That's
think you
okay.
got to just kind of roll with the punches. I think things are not going to be like quite as exact as what we're used to.
Yeah.
So he didn't show up, but this lovely couple helped. People are very helpful. And we found they had somebody that their driver and that they had used. They looked honest. I mean, sometimes you got to just hope. And then we went. You know, the guy brought us here. Um, so yeah, you know, like tonight we got some dinner delivered, and the guy that owns the hotel ordered it for us, and I said, oh, do you have a menu? And he didn't have a menu, and then he called the place and they were like, do you have a menu online? And then, no, we don't have a menu. And he said, well, they've got cheeseburgers.
Well,
So
I
you know,
guess
I was like, okay,
I guess it was cheeseburgers
two.
tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, two cheeseburgers and fries. Now I'll have you know the cheeseburger was interesting because it had pickles, onions, lettuce, and pineapple on
Hey.
it. Oh, and green tomato.
And gr
Yeah.
and green tomato, that's hilarious.
But the pineapple kind of threw me for a loop a little bit when you're not expecting it.
What was the verdict? Was it any good?
Um Wyatt's verdict was thumbs up, two thumbs up. Mine was kind of a little more I don't know.
Well,
A little bit.
when we travel to different countries, you travel to different countries, you're gonna get the different culture, everything, it's and it
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
if you get the same burger that you got when you could get it from around the corner, it's not gonna have that same effect,
Yeah,
so that's good.
yeah.
So now, Colombia, here from news from the Roost, we're very much into birds too, right? Wildlife and
Yeah,
nature,
yeah.
travel. But so what kinds of wildlife have you run into, while you've been down there? I understand you had a little bit of an encounter while you were having a meal or something?
Oh, well, not really necessarily an encounter, but so far we've seen birds. I haven't seen anything else except birds. Well, I did see a fish jump in the river, but nonetheless, we were eating down in the breakfast area, and there's nobody else down there. It's very empty. We were eating our dinner down there at the tables, and there's a wire across the air the it's like a pavilion, and so it's like outside, and there was this furry looking bird with a long tail, probably about 7 inch long tail, and I said, that's funny. I don't remember seeing that bird at breakfast, but it was just sitting there. We're eating away, talking, da da da. It's just nothing's moving, still as can be. And and da 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 da. So, we thought, oh, what's a fake bird? And then we get up to leave, and then we saw it like move a little bit. I'm like, Oh my god, that's a real bird. It was really big. It was ends up being a we kept looking at it and we didn't want to disturb it. It was a what are they called?
Something I think
Mop
it
mop.
a
Mop
mott
mop bird.
a mott. Oh my
I
gosh,
think
I bet you it was beautiful.
yeah. Well, we looked up some stuff about them, and yeah, they like to sleep on wires or branches all into a little ball. They tuck their head right in, and they sleep there because I thought it was so strange. Like it didn't move. It didn't move, and then all of a sudden it moved. So,
So
but
you're up in the mountains. We're gonna take a look at a map, for a moment, and I don't know if you could see the map where you are down the corner of your screen or not, but so you are up at the well, you said that you're east of Medellin. Medellin, did I say that right? Medellin?
I hear Medellin and Medellin, so one or the other.
So you're up in the mountains, so I'm guessing there that this mop probably likes being up in the mountains too. My
Uh huh.
that they say that, every bird has its desired, temperature. So, like, that's why certain species will go further up in the mountains and certain species will be down low. For our listeners at home, they have a certain temperature that they usually like to be at. But if you could help us out with this map there, and so
Yeah.
if when you come
Oh, I
down
can't see the map.
Oh, you can't see the map. Okay, well, for I'll try to talk you through it, but when you come down out of the mountains, is Medellin, is that also at a higher level, elevation, or do you have to go
It
down
is.
into
Yeah,
a valley? Oh, okay.
yeah, Medellin is in a valley, but it's still high. It's still like 5,000 feet. So
Well, so that's not gonna be
yeah,
too hot for you during the day then either, probably. Not
yeah.
horrible.
No, I mean, like I said, it was warm, quite warm in the sun. If I had to guess, it was like 85 degrees
So now
in the sun.
to get to a lower level, do you have to travel, like, south of Medellin and then go over towards the ocean to get down?
Yeah,
Okay, down to the coast. Alright.
yeah. Because if you go to the coast, it's really hot and humid, and I'm kind of get to the point now where I can't even take the heat anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, the coast like Cartagena and like Santa Marta, although are supposed to be extremely hot and humid. So yeah, you'd
So
have to go a little bit north and a little bit east. Well, I mean,
okay.
of course, there's ocean on, but yeah, you have to go to the coast for it to be flat.
If you could give us some tips, I know, you haven't been there for very long yet, but you've kind of got yourself situated. You've got a chance to tool around a little bit. For people that want to travel to Colombia or thinking about it, maybe that's on their list somewhere of some of the places they'd like to visit. Could you give anything you want to say about tips or things that you would say, hey, make sure you bring this or don't bring that, or be careful of this or don't pay any attention to that? I mean, I know that Medellin, there's been stories years ago about, wasn't there a famous, Pablo Escobar or something like that?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, I think that's probably scared some people away, but what do you have to say about trips for people that want to come down to Colombia?
Well, I mean, so far, and I would say that definitely like the people here are so nice, and I think I would say make sure you pack. Well, where I am, you need a kind of a variety because you need some warm clothes, some cool clothes. Um, but also, um, I would agree on a price of things before you pay it. I think because
Mm,
sometimes prices get a little bit change a little bit,
got it.
and yeah, and
Maybe
yeah,
practice
like
your
I said,
Spanish.
practice your Spanish because they really like it if you can speak Spanish.
Do you
I
do you
just can tell it.
do you think if you had, like, basic Spanish, like, I don't know, it's a high school Spanish, you paid attention probably to your basic stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
could you get by kind of with the basic
yeah.
stuff?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yep,
Well,
yeah.
that's good to know. Now, I don't know as we if we close up here, I don't know where you're gonna be, how your Wi-Fi is gonna be, but I'd like to have you on again at some point after you've been there a little while longer, because I know that your experience, this next experience that you're going to have, is going to be way different. You talked about the farm, you talked about volunteering on there and helping to prepare your own meals and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Might not be, Wi-Fi there, or maybe there is, I don't know. But, would you be interested in coming on again and kinda giving
Yeah,
us
yeah,
like a post,
absolutely.
like a
Yeah,
second
yeah,
chapter, and
yeah,
things may be different.
absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, enjoy your time in Colombia, and, hang tight with us as we play the outro, and then we'll go over and try to see if we can't get you scheduled for next. But thank you very much, and, everybody stay safe out there.
Mhm, okay.